As always, I want to thank you for being here and choosing today to join us here at our Spiritual Community Sunday celebration service. I'm always awed and honored by those that watch and comment and send me emails and things like that. So I want you to continue to do that. I want you to continue to engage. Make sure that every Sunday you're staying to the end, you're doing the discussion questions. And as I said, some ways to engage with us is literally that. You're watching us on screen right now. We're not in brick and mortar. Who knows what's going to happen in the near future? We will see. But for now, we're online. You can watch online. But what better way to watch online than getting up early on a Sunday? Maybe have a brunch at your house. That's purposely why I scheduled this at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So you can have a brunch at your house or just coffee with some friends. Stay to the end, check out the discussion questions, and then put those action steps into action. Just like our principle number 5 says, it's not enough to know the truth, you must live the truth you know. So make sure that that's happening with you. And again, I am excited about being a part of a spiritual community. Over the last couple of weeks, we had a lot of great things happening. I had some great testimonies come in from people who have said that I've helped in some way with things I've said. I love when I get those testimonies and I don't remember what I said, but it's the greatest feeling in the world. I had 2 people who, even though it's not, people don't see it as part of spiritual community, but I believe that healing is a big part of it, and we pray for healing in unity. But I have Reiki people who have come and taken their second level to even more support people in healing and distant healing and things like that. We had a chance yesterday to volunteer for some things going on, and that's what I see with our spiritual community. It's not just a Sunday experience, it's a lifetime experience, and that experience includes doing the work we need to do, serving others, engaging ourselves in prayer and meditation in our own growth so that we can shine that light, and then make sure that we all, each one, reach one by teaching what we know. And no, you don't have to be a minister or an ordained minister, I should say, for you to go ahead and do that. So as always, partner with us, help us grow this ministry. You can go to our website at weesc.org, and you can hit the donate or give button, and whatever amount is great because we use it to get better video backdrops, things like that, and you've seen that happen, as well as to purchase and do things that we can. So we definitely thank you who have done so and has helped us grow, including when we had Paul Hasselbeck on for that 4-part series. It was your generous donations that help us do that. Second of all, again, partner with us. If you have time at home or during the week, you want to share some illustrations, you want to do stuff to share with our community or engage with our community. One of our goals is to find a way to do children's shows. May not be as long as our Sunday celebration, but just short shows that will keep our children engaged, but learning our unity principles and putting them into action. So if you want to be a part of that, go to our contact page on our website at weesc.org. And there's a drop down, and in that drop down you can do prayer requests, you can ask questions, but you can also hit volunteer. And just think, if you're volunteering online, you could probably do most of that volunteering at home in your bunny slippers. So truly appreciate anyone who wants to help. And with that as well, as I said, best way to engage with us is to join us live Sundays at 11 a.m. And if you can't join live, the videos are left up afterwards, recorded, so that you can watch it at any time. Comment, let us know. But most importantly, all this time we've been talking, you could be sharing this on all the social media platforms. Share the link to the YouTube video so that people can also watch live, or at least, if not, afterwards, they can come and watch and make comments. So, and that's how we grow a spiritual community. And even online, we're touching hearts all over the world. So let's get out there, let's do that, let's move, and everything is inch by inch. Every action we take, every truth we partake in helps us get there. And just like our talk today, we want to make sure we're putting those spiritual laws into effect. So with that, It's time for me to shush and let you experience our Sunday service.
Good morning, everyone. Join me as we sing This Little Light of Mine as we let our own light shine through this glorious morning. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine, shine. Everybody, shine, shine. You know you got to shine, shine. All around the world, shine, shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine, shine. Everybody, shine, shine. You know you've got to shine, shine. All around the world, shine, shine. When there's light in the soul, when there's light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. There is beauty in the person. When there's beauty in the person, when there's beauty in the person, there is harmony in the home. There is harmony in the home. When there's harmony in the home, when there's harmony in the home, there is honor in the nation. Honor in the nation. When there's honor in the nation, when there's honor in the nation, there is peace in the world. No more living in fear. We're gonna let it shine. Oh, no more living in fear. We're gonna let it shine. Shine. No more living in fear. We're gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, let it shine, shine. Everybody, shine, shine. You know you've got to shine, shine. All around the world, shine, shine. All my brothers and sisters, shine, shine. Shine, shine, shine. Shine, shine. All around the world, shine, shine. All around the world, shine, shine. Shine, shine, shine. Brothers and sisters, shine, shine. Shine, shine, shine.
Thursday, January 27th, 2022. Desire. Today we affirm, my deepest desires are divinely inspired. And our message reads, when I ask myself what I long to do and achieve, I think of what matters most to me and is closest to my heart. Tangible things may come to mind, but those are fleeting and temporary. As I focus more on my enduring desires, I imagine having family, friends, health, peace, and all I need to live comfortably, not extravagantly. Discerning my deepest desires warms my heart and gives me a feeling of possibility and positive expectation. With faith and gratitude, I acknowledge God as the source of my desires for love, health, and peace. I feel the presence of God within guiding me as I direct my indwelling spiritual gifts of strength, zeal, and imagination as I work to bring my desires to life. Our Bible verse for today is from Psalm 119, 174. I long for your salvation, O Lord, and your law is my delight.
When I was a girl each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Yeah. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Yeah. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath, 'cause I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate, hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Yeah. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scriptured verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. 'Cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Yeah, everything, every little thing, everything is holy now. Yeah, everything is holy now. Yeah.
Everything's a miracle.
Everything is holy now.
Everything is holy now.
Everything's a miracle.
Everything's a miracle.
Everything is holy now. Everything's a miracle.
Everything's a miracle.
Everything is holy now. Everything's a miracle. Everything is holy now. Everything's a miracle. Everything is holy now.
Well, let's go ahead and answer those questions. How does desire and how does desire and intention work with detachment? When we desire something, we want something. There's something that's calling our attention. There is something that is, pulling us toward it. And of course, the intention is, what is our intentions toward that? And when they work together, we create an atmosphere of goals. We talk about, the law of pure potentiality. We talk about in unity how when we talk about God, we're talking about that exact source of abundance and health and everything else. That source that Eric Butterworth talks about, us being the potter and being able to form in our will, is the same source we're talking about here. Even in the creation stories, we talk about how there are two creation stories, and the belief from a metaphysical point of view is that the first creation story is being used as the idea that was brought into mind, that desire. And then the intent was put out there, and then the creation or the expression happened. So, and that's in our creation story, in the Christian stories of the creation story, or the Hebrew scriptures actually. But even in the hymn of creations by the Rig Vedas, it says, inherent in every intention and desire is the mechanics for its fulfillment. Intention and desire in the field of pure potentiality have infinite organizing power. And when we introduce an intention into the fertile ground of pure potentiality, we put this infinite organizing power to work for us. In the beginning, there was desire, which was the first seed of mind, so thoughts. Sages, having meditated in their hearts, have discovered by the wisdom of connection of the existence and the non-existence. And we talk about this all the time. The language that's thrown out there is the law of attraction. We need to have a desire. So we want to see it or feel it, as they say. We want to set that intention. We need to believe that it's about to happen. And we have to take the action, of course. But here, as the author puts it, just another label. So in fact, at the level of the quantum field, so now we're talking quantum mechanics, there is nothing other than the energy and information. The quantum field is just another label for the field of pure consciousness or pure potentiality. And the quantum field is influenced by our intentions and by desire. When we talk about God in the sense of being omnipotent, omniscient, one power, one presence, we're talking about that exact same pure potentiality, that pure consciousness that we tap into. So we have the quality of intention of the object of attention will orchestrate an infinite of space-time events to bring about the outcome intended, provided one follows other spiritual laws of success. So we talk here again about, pure potentiality. What we think about, we bring about. We've all heard that thoughts held in mind produce of their kind. And then again, these are all the sayings that we've heard in unity. But in reality, what it is when we put our full thought, we have that desire. There's that knock on our heart, as they say, that tells us that there's something we want. There is something that is calling us. A lot of times I like to believe that desire in this sense is that calling to be the best person you can be, the person that you're supposed to be for this world, for the people that need you. I'm a firm believer that everybody has an inherent gift, a God-given gift that is produced from our Christ consciousness, Buddha nature, our Krishna consciousness, our divine intuition. It's coming from there. It's a knock on the door that says, hey, I'm here. I'm ready to show up, and I know there's something more that I need. And I set the intention. Once I see what it is, I set that intention that I want to move forward with it and set my goals, do what I have to do to get there. So attention lays the groundwork for effortless spontaneous, frictionless flow of your potentiality, seeking expression from an unmanifest to manifest. So we talk about the ideas in our head. We talk about, divine order, which is tapping into divine mind, the idea, and then the expression of it. The intention is the real power behind desire. Intention alone is very powerful because intent is desire without attachment to the outcome. Desire alone is weak. So if we want something, yet we set no intention behind it, we do nothing about it. I want to be, a Reiki healer, and I'll kind of touch on that because I was taught or talked about Reiki healing, years and years ago. I think I had just probably a year or two married to my wife, and I was training in martial arts at that point, in the Japanese style. So, of course, Reiki came up, and it was demonstrated, and was giving us a history, and it always intrigued me because there was always a movie, it was a Steven Seagal movie, where he said, before I can teach you how to hurt someone, I must first teach you how to heal someone. And that desire always stayed in the back of my head. And I met many Reiki teachers on the way up, but I was called to one. That person taught me Reiki, and I went through all the levels with that person. But I had to set an intention. It was no more of, I'm thinking about it, because I remember that weekend, because it happened to fall on my birthday weekend. I remember I wanted to go see I think it was the authors of the Four Agreements was going to be up at a Unity in Massachusetts, and I wanted to go. But my Reiki 1 was on that same weekend. And I remember going to the person and said, he is having this class. It's not going to cancel because I wanted to go to this. And no. So the intent was there. I took the action, and here I am today, Reiki Master Teacher, teaching other people. So that's what we talk about when we talk about having a desire. I wanted to learn Reiki and having the intent, I'm going to do this. I need to find my way to it, allowing it to be detached. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. And finding the right teacher. And they say when the student is ready, the teacher will come. So always remember that. So intention combined with detachment, which we just talked about, leads to life-centered present moment awareness. So that's important when we talk about the law of desire and intent, is that anything that happens to us has to happen here in the present. Okay? And we must accept the present as is. And when we do that, in accepting the present as is, we accept the present and set an intent to the future. So where am I today? So I wanted to be, and again, this is just adding one to many of the certificates I have, was on top of Reiki healing, I started to be introduced to sound healing. And I have a crystal bowl that I use that I bought purposely for me. And I've used singing bowls, metal singing bowls before. But I wanted to know what it was to add that to a healing regimen. So, once again, present moment, Reiki person, I have a couple of bowls. Do I really know what I'm doing? I know there's more I can learn. Great, I'm setting the intention that I want to learn more. Well, sure enough, somebody came up with a course that I was able to attend. And I'm certified in using singing bowls for healing, tuning forks, and there's another instrument there as well. And I had to do some sound baths to get the certification. So the intention was there, but I had to remain present, not worry about what I learned or what I've been doing. And how many of us do that? We get into a new situation to learn something, but we're already trying to hold on to the past of things that we did or didn't do or things we couldn't do and not move into the future. And that's when we talk about the law of desire and intent, is we must start from present. So again, the past, present, and future are all properties of consciousness. Now, you've heard me when I've done meditation where I say we let go of the worry of the past and the anxiety of the future. Because the past is only recollections and memories. They no longer exist. The future is an anticipation of what we want to happen. But the present is where we are aware of where we're at, what we can do, and where we can move. So both past and future are born in imagination. Only the present, which is our awareness, is real and eternal. You know, if I was to stand up here and start talking to you and go, okay, take a step forward now. Well, now just went to the past. And for every second that passes, the now is no longer there. But if I stay in this present moment, even though that moment's going to continue to move, I understand that I can set an intention and create it. If you have a life-centered, present moment awareness, then the imaginary obstacles, which are more than 90% of perceived obstacles, disintegrate and disappear. And the remaining 5 or 10% of perceived obstacles can be transmuted into opportunities through one pointed intention. So we talk about that all the time where, you know, I think it's Stoicism where they talk about how if we put it into our life's action, one of the exercises is when you're worried about something is to imagine the worst that can happen. And once you've gone through that exercise and listed all the worst things that can happen, well, now you know what could happen. So just move forward without fear. And it sounds easier than it is. It is difficult. We all know that. We have an internal thing that tries to stop us. But when we can overcome that fear, or we use that fear as fire to push us forward, then we can begin to manifest it into our lives. So let's talk about that one-pointed intention that we just mentioned. One-pointed intention means holding your attention to the intended outcome with such an unbending purpose that you absolutely refuse to allow obstacles to consume and dissipate the focused quality of your intention. We just talked about that fear. You know, we do affirmations. We do what we call denials. And it's not that we're denying the feeling. It kind of goes back to that whole, you know, I'm afraid to do something because, and then you can fill in the blank after that. Well, I'm denying the power that the fear of that action is stopping me from going forward, because I can affirm that in the power of now, I can move in place to go toward that goal. That's my power. And that's my power to overcome those 90% of obstacles, which are all up here. You know, I started the Worry to Wow podcast because of that, because I realized that I'm hearing stories from so many people who physically went through things. And I have my weight issues and operation mishap and all of that. But there's a lot of things that people talk about that they went through that I never went through. But I also noticed that a lot of their fears were my fears. But the problem was that those fears weren't anywhere out here. It was all in here. And until I was able to overcome the in here was where I was able to express out here the good in my life. Still got a long way to go, but we can do that together. Learn to harness the power of intention, and you can create anything you desire. Through effort and through trying. Let me rephrase that. It says you can still get results through effort and through trying, but at a cost. The cost of stress, heart attacks, and the compromised functions of the immune system. So we know that stress for us can hurt us in many ways. And I'm a big proponent and know how that's at. You know, to worry myself to the point of sickness or allowing the the objects in my mind that don't even exist to create an atmosphere of stress and sickness for me. Now, when we're talking about effort through trying, is that we know we desire something that may not be to our best interest, and we fight for that because the Joneses are telling us that if we dress a certain way, act a certain way, talk a certain way, if we get enough love so that people can see I'm in love, or if we get enough, money to people to talk about how much money we got and everything else that has nothing to do with who we truly are, and we put energy behind that, then we no longer are using that desire and intention. We're just sitting there with a weak desire of something that 9 times out of 10 isn't even really our desire. So we want to put the law of desire and intention into play exactly as it is. So how do we do that? So first of all, we want to slip into the gap. And that means to center yourself in a silent space between thoughts, to go into the silence. The level of being which is your essential state, your true self. And if you were reading the book as well, the true self is always represented by the big S. I think it was Wayne Dyer actually wrote a book called In the Gap, and that's what it was talking about, that it's the space between the thoughts that allows us to tap into that source, feel our desire, find the intention, and make that stride forward. And you want to established in the state of being, release your intentions and desires. When you are actually in the gap, there is no thought, there is no intention, but as you come out of the gap, at the junction between the gap and the thought, you introduce the intention. If you have a series of goals, you can write them down and have your intentions focused on them before you go into the gap. If you want a successful career, for example, you can go into the gap with intention. We want something to happen so fast that we just start pushing and blah, blah, blah. And why isn't this relationship working? Why isn't this job working out? Why isn't this? Because we spend so much time focused on an outcome that's in the future that doesn't even exist. It's only in our imagination, that we forget to stay present in now and know that we are already moving in that desired path that we have established, and remain in the state of self-referral, which means to remain established in the awareness of your true self, your spirit, your connect to the field of pure potentiality. It also means not to look at yourself through the eyes of the world and allow yourself to be influenced by the opinions and criticisms of others. A helpful way to maintain a state of self-referral is to keep your desires to yourself. Do not share them with anyone else unless they share the exact same desires. And I've been there before where people have said, oh, you should tell your goals because they'll keep you accountable. And in reality, it backfired on me. But when I learned that, hey, this is what I want to do, this is my intention, this is what my heart is telling me, I go out, I do it. I come back. Guess what? I am now blank. There's no one, oh, well, why did you do that? Because I had a calling for that, and that's where I am today. And then finally, let the universe handle the details. Your intentions and desires, when released into the gap, have infinite organizing power. Trust the infinite organizing power of intention to orchestrate all the details for you. We talk about that when something's in divine order. We've tapped into source, we've created an idea, and we expressed it out into this world. But when we try to force that expression, it normally doesn't come out the way we expected it. So we want to let it go. And we've all heard the term, let go and let God. And that's where this works into the law of detachment. And I love what in the Upanishads, it says, in detachment lies the wisdom of uncertainty. In the wisdom of uncertainty lies the freedom from our past, from the known, which is the prison of past conditioning. And in our willingness to step into the unknown, the field of possibilities, we surrender ourselves to the creative mind that orchestrates the dance of the universe. Like two golden birds perched on the self-same true intimate friends, the ego and the self dwell in the same body. The former eats the sweet and sour fruits of the tree of life, while the latter looks on in detachment. We take the action, we let it go. A perfect example of this would be Brene Brown in her works, where she's made it the most important thing is to surrender. We look at surrender as vulnerability, and in a way it is, but it's not a hindrance. It's actually letting go. For the longest time, I've been told I'm supposed to be this, I'm supposed to do that, I'm supposed to do the other. And people have told me this for all my life from a young age, that this is how it's supposed to be, this is how it should be. And we've talked about this. We don't should on ourselves. Because what happens is I kept holding on to an ideal of somebody who wasn't me. I look back at my childhood, look back at my teens, and I remember how I felt, how I thought, and how it contradicted what everybody else was thinking. And guess what? I thought I was wrong. And I had to be and try to be with everyone else. And that went through my adulthood. And I try to be a person to please others, to do that. And anything I wanted to accomplish. And it wasn't until I let it go. And it's not easy, trust me. When I let it go, and as Jesus was teaching in the Christian scriptures, he says, be in this world, but don't be of it. That's why I said when we talked about the last law, my desire to become a unity minister was in the form of, I was looking for my own spiritual teacher. I read about unity, read the beliefs, and I said, yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Joined unity, started talking. My senior minister said, you would make a great minister. It took about a year for me to sit with myself and say, is that what I want to do? And it felt right. And I did it. Now, it took a long time, a lot of challenges. Just like I said, 99% of the challenges were probably in my head. And the last 10%, 10% were challenges that ended up being my teacher. Or as Reverend Sandra, who is the executive director of the Urban Ministerial School, says, your test will be your testimony. So that's what we want to do. So the law of attachment says in order to acquire anything in the physical universe or to express, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. The moment you release your attachment to the result, combining one pointed intention, which we just talked about, and the detachment at the same time, you will have what you desire. Attachment, on the other hand, is based on fear and insecurity. And the need for security is based on not knowing the true self. When I talked about my younger years, when we talk about because I didn't know who I was always being told by someone or something what I should be doing, how I wasn't going to amount to anything, how because of my weight I would never be anything. And these were people who were close to me. And because I allowed that into my head, I created a fear. And because I did not know who my true self was, I needed to try to find that true self, but I was finding that true self in the voice of everyone around me. How many of you are doing that right now? And you're allowing your friends, your relatives, people who genuinely feel they're loving you in that way, but not realizing that they're hurting you because you're allowing those voices to silence the voice within yourself that says, I can show you who you really are. Again, some examples here. Attachment comes from poverty consciousness because attachment is always symbols. Because attachment is always to symbols. Detachment is synonymous with wealth consciousness because with detachment there's a freedom to create. Only from detached involvement can one have joy and laughter. I remember when I was learning to talk and be I wanted to be a motivational speaker prior to becoming a unity minister. And I remember being told by many, it's like, oh, you need to charge this, find your worth. And everything was tied to a dollar sign. And it wasn't until I realized and I met someone who said, no, you go out and do your first talk. Because you could tell yourself that you're worth X, Y, Z, but if your worth isn't the same value you're delivering, your worth means nothing to nobody. But if you go out there and prepare a 15-minute talk with the openness and detaching that that talk may become an hour long or a multi-hour conference later, then and only then will you begin to attract things to you. I'll give you a perfect example. No, a number of months ago, we talked about it. My daughter and I had an interview with a reverend out in the Philippines. Well, that same person has invited me to speak at his conference, on their conference for, what was it I'm talking about? Well, kind of, we're talking about commitment and continuity and doing stuff and just continue making sure that we keep going even when things are down. And she's talking about the, what do you call it? And she's talking about the way we do our videos, and we've been committed. We may miss a week or two depending on technology and time, but we always try to have that out there. One of the videos that I talked about a number of weeks ago, I did a video one time of the 12 Powers meditation for Unity of NEPA, and it's on their website, and it's been there forever. And I did it during I think it was the beginning of COVID. And I really don't look at numbers. I just put it out there, and if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, whatever. I'm not looking for anything. Again, detachment. And I had a friend of mine contact me. He's like, did you see that this video had over 1,700 views? I'm like, what? And I went and looked, and sure enough, it had 1,700 views. So that tells me that 1,700 people, whether they watched a minute of it, whether they watched the whole thing, got something out of it. And that to me is the blessing. And I detached from those videos a while ago. Even when, our videos, I put them out there, our Sunday talks are out there. It's about helping others. So I detach myself. Well, am I going to get the number of views? Am I going to get whatever? And sometimes I do questions like, well, did somebody look at our Sunday service or in the late or whatever? But in the end, I let it go, because I know that even if it touched one person, I did what I was meant to do. True wealth consciousness is the ability to have anything you want, anytime you want, with least effort. And we talked about that in the law of least effort. And when we talk about true wealth consciousness isn't always about money. Wealth consciousness is being able to work in a position or work a job that allows you to be free to be you. It could be talking about your health, that maybe you had some health issues, and now you're free from those health issues and living a very healthy and abundant life. That's true wealth consciousness. The problem is people are constantly seeking security, and you will find that seeking security is actually a very exhausting thing. Randy Gage, who I always equate to helping me find a unity, wrote a book called Risky is the New Safe. Because finding that security, sitting back and not taking risks, leaves you in the same spot that you don't want to be in the first place. Those who seek security chase it for a lifetime without ever finding it. It remains elusive because security can never come from money, materialistic, or anything outside of us alone. The search for security is actually just an illusion. The known is our past. The known is nothing other than the prison of past conditioning. So we talk about how I had to make changes. Connie Pedestro is a business consultant, especially geared toward women, who happened to be talking at a success symposium I went to. And she said it best. She said, women stop playing games. At the age of 18, no matter what you were taught before, you have a choice to break that cycle and stop making decisions based on what other people have told you. And that hit home to me and to other people in that room, because it was true. We come with our conditioning. Our parents do the best they do. The teachers do what they do. We're influenced by people outside of us that probably have nothing to do with us. But that constant bombardment keeps us in a past conditioning that keeps us hooked into the past. Imagine driving your car and haven't had an oil change in over 5 years. or driving a car attached to a trailer with nothing but weights that have nothing for you to do. Notice the car does not move in the way it should. And it's the same with us mentally and physically. Every day you can look for the excitement of what may occur in the field of possibilities when we relinquish our attachments. When we let go of what we think should happen, every day becomes a new adventure, because today I've got to do this, and it'll take curves and it may take some things, but in turn it will act a certain way. New challenges will come up, new opportunities will come up, but we don't know, and that's the greatest mystery of all. The law of detachment accelerates the whole process of evolution, and the state of alertness, your preparedness in the present, in the field of uncertainty, meets with your goal and your intention, allows you to seize the opportunity. So again, when I wanted to become a Reiki teacher or a Reiki practitioner at first, if I had sat there and said, well, this teacher didn't want me, this teacher is too busy, this teacher's whatever, obviously I must not want Reiki because none of this is happening, rather than saying, I'm going to remain present and the opportunity will come up. And sure enough, when I had a break in life that I can say, I can step away and actually take this class, there it was, the right teacher approached, and here I am. So when we apply the law of detachment, we want to look at every problem you have in life as an opportunity. We want to be prepared in the present moment for things that are spontaneously. You know, they say good luck is nothing but preparedness and opportunity coming together. When the two are mixed together with an alert witnessing of the chaos, a solution emerges, and there'll be an evolutionary benefit to you and all of those that come in contact with you. This is the perfect recipe for success, and it is based on the law of detachment. When you release the mud, release it all, nothing is left but a light that shines, that blesses everyone around you. And isn't that why you came here today? Isn't that why you've come to this spiritual circle, to any of our unity teachings, any classes in that? Is that not just for yourselves, but that you can reach out to someone else and bless them in the same way. I truly hope we touched you today in some way that will spark the need to go out there, set your intentions, seek your desires in the silence, put it into action. And as you put it into action, remain present in this moment, this time, not worrying about what, who, or whatever did in the past, not setting my focus on what I'm supposed to happen here, but being present and knowing that every moment is pure potentiality in right. My prayers are the ultimate mind action, as Charles Fillmore says, because I'm setting my intention in prayer to live my life at the highest good. And not just for myself, but for everyone around me, especially you watching here today. Love you, nothing you can do about it, and I definitely will see you on our next Sunday celebration.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the color on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place. Take a look at yourself and then make a change. Oh, yeah. Na 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 na. Oh, yeah. I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there is some with no home, not a nickel alone. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? A willow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dreams. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that